Hello and welcome back. Today is a very special day because it's a collaboration with another Fakemon creator called PokéBrawl. He has his own YouTube channel where he creates the fan-made Earthcore Region. I'll link a playlist and his channel in the description. He asked me if I want to do a collaboration video, and I happily agreed. We decided to pick a Fakemon line from each other's region and adapt them to our own region by making regional variants. It was pretty easy for me to decide which line I wanted in my region, the Serpentome line, because the concept of this Fakemon is already fitting for the Jermanzburg region and I can use it to show you how the regional forms work in this region. You see, this region is old, very old. In fact, a couple millennia ago, there were 3 legendary Fakemon ruling over it and influencing the land. The first stands for Gridlock. The area influenced by this legendary monster was rural, and the humans and Fakemons lived in harmony with nature. The second stands for Shift. The influence of this legendary monster made the area more technologically advanced. The third stands for Fables. This part of the region seems to be a bit more magical than the rest. Those legendary monsters were sealed beyond the ground at an unknown point in time and for unknown reasons. The stories are nearly forgotten, but the influence of the 3 is still there. There are 3 types of regional variants: the Gridlock form, the Shift form and the Fable form. Those forms are exclusive for the shown areas, so we will get to know a few of them. The last evolution of the Serpentome line has a different form for each of these areas. But enough of the talking, let's go and visit the first regional variant. So, the original Serpentome is a book possessed by a soul, with its life story written in the Fakemon. These Fakemon migrated from the Earthcore Region into the Jermanzburg region long time ago. During this process, they slowly lost their life stories and turned from a book into a single piece of paper. The souls also fully fused with the object they possessed and made them a sentient piece of paper and no longer a possessed object. So I wanted to make a simple, cute, curious looking piece of paper. The wings are inspired by folded origami paper and the patterns are meant to resemble fancy paperful letters. The tongue is basically a bookmark. Try to make the pose still similar to the original, even though it is only a piece of paper and not a whole book. Color-wise, I went with the look of recycled paper, some red because red paper is fancy, and gold like in the original drawing. Here it is, the first regional variant of this region, Jermanzburg Serpentome. I'm pretty happy how it turned out, super cute for a little piece of paper, I like it. Next up, the first evolution, Dragoscript. This one is one of the designs that is rather close to the original. Serpentome will collect knowledge or stories until they are able to fill a whole book. This is all they know to do. They will evolve into Dragoscript once they are full. The original one looks rather angry or threatening. This regional variant is not. They are really curious and will follow everyone who they think can feed them with new information, stories or ideas. Overall, the design is pretty similar, but I changed a few things. For example, the wings either represent unfolded origami paper or bookmarks. The teeth are meant to look like when you fold the corner of a piece of paper. Color-wise, I went with a blue cover and red and golden details. I just thought the colors would work well and look friendly enough for such a cute book, and are also resembling the original design enough. I imagined them to be very puppy-like, always following you around and trying to get your attention. They will not leave you alone until you told them something interesting or new. There it is, the Jermanzburg Dragoscript. It is still a pure psychic type, but the evolution will get a second typing. The shiny is inspired by the Purple Codex, and for the eyes I went with something that looked like a mix of the ghouls from Tokyo Ghoul and the evil spirits from the Uncanny Encounter. As a shiny they look kinda evil, but the personality still stays the same. Next up, the Gridlock form of Drovelisk. All forms are based on 3 different medias, where you can save informations in. When you evolve your Dragoscript in the area influenced by the Gridlock legendary, it will evolve into this psychic ghost type. Visually, it has not much to do with the first 2 stages, but concept-wise it does. Also, I tried to still include elements of the original and the pre-evolutions. I felt that an old scroll would be fitting to store old knowledge. Perfect for this form. The shape reminded me of a snake body, and that seemed like a cool idea to try out. The most badass scrolls that I can think of are the Elder Scrolls from Skyrim, so I used them as an inspiration to design a cool head shape. These Fakemon roam around in old libraries and ruins. They are able to read and understand every language. Its eye is always open and scanning for lost knowledge. These Fakemon are often seen on the sites of historians, archaeologists and farmers. The historians and archaeologists are pretty obvious, the farmers not so much. Since these Fakemon contain old knowledge, farmers use those to reconstruct the old ways of farming, because they dislike too much use of modern day technology. I drew these little things above its eye to make it seem like the eye is constantly held open, and the pattern below its eye is supposed to resemble melting wax or tears of blood. On its belly is all the knowledge stored that it has ever seen, however it is really hard to read since it is an old language that barely anyone speaks anymore. Also, I wanted to use one color of the original in each of these 3 forms. For this one I used purple. To make it seem like an ancient Fakemon, I gave it some splatters of ink on its body and it looks a bit torn. Here it is, Jermanzburg Drovelisk in its Gridlock form. It's definitely the most creepy one out of the 3, but I think it's fitting. Imagine walking around in a ruin and you suddenly see this thing staring at you. And now imagine the same scenario with the shiny version. It's nightmare fuel. Next we will visit the Fable form. This one was easy to design, the only thing where I experimented a bit was the face pattern. This one is definitely the one evolution that looks the most consistent to its pre-evolutions. Since this design is based around fables and fairy tales, I wanted to give it a more mystical look. Gave it different golden elements and wings that look like fairy or butterfly wings. The golden ornaments loosely form a heart around its eye or a stylized crown. I also gave it an actual crown on its head and some horn-looking parts. The feet are inspired by those magnetic bookmarks that my mom once got me. You can clip them on your pages and I thought that would be a cool way to incorporate the feet. The original design has a tail which I added to this form at the end cause I realized none of my original variants had those. Maybe that's just me, but I find this form pretty cute. They are super popular amongst artists because they can project images into someone's head for communication purposes, depending on what the Drovelisk has experienced on its journey. Artists use them as a big inspiration source for writing stories, songs and drawing. Since these Fakemon love to share their collected stories, they are also often seen around children because they never say no to stories and always want more. However, as a parent you should keep an eye on these Fakemon because they will tell all stories they collected and sometimes they might be a little too creepy for children. Color-wise I used nearly the same as with Dragoscript, but I took the yellow from the original one's eye and pages. I usually shade all my Fakemon with black and then set the transparency to 30 or 20%, but sometimes that's too dark like with this drawing, so I later went over the shadows with a dark blue, which I think looks better. And here it is, the Fable form of Drovelisk. While Dragoscript was the size of a normal book, these things can get pretty large and heavy, like those old giant books. The last form was a real struggle. See, the Gridlock form is based on a scroll, the Fable form on a book, and I wanted the Shift form to be based on a hologram. But there was such a vague idea that I couldn't get anything done. I did a bunch of sketches, but they didn't look like a third stage or anything, so I stopped drawing for a while and played Horizon Zero Dawn. The game has a lot of amazing creature designs and that actually pushed me in the right direction. It has a huge camera-looking eye which it uses to project video messages or pictures. It also has a screen in its belly where it can show text. These texts are in a language that only its trainer can understand. No one else is able to read it besides the trainer. The wings are shaped like an open book or an open laptop. I added those floating discs to make it appear more futuristic. It can push energy through it and use them to fly. These Fakemon get used a lot by scientists to document their work. Since only the trainer can read their language, it is ideal to keep your studies a secret. Their main goal is to collect ideas and to further develop them. It's personally shaped by the ideas it stores. I feel like that the inspiration of these forms is based on something fascinating and can be scary at the same time. All text can sometimes be, well, disturbing, same goes for most of the fairy tales, and to be honest, science and thinking about the future can also be very terrifying. That feeling I wanted to capture in the shiny forms. I had to try out a few colors to get the right look, but I settled on a gold, silver, red and green color scheme. Since I did struggle so much with this design, I'm pretty happy how it turned out in the end. I know the hologram part is not that obvious, and I don't know if this design is maybe too far away from the original, but I hope it works. To some of the spots like the pupil and the disc I added some light effects and make it look like they are glowing. Here it is, the last design for today, the shift form of Drovelisk. I hope this final drawing is still fitting with the line and concept, and of course I hope you like them. Here you have all the newest members of the Jermanzburg region. This was so much fun, thank you PokéBrawl for asking me to do this collaboration. I already drew a few original variants for Pokémon, but drawing one for someone else's Fakemon was way more fun, and this line was just beyond perfect to adapt into this region. Please watch the original video where PokéBrawl designed these Fakemon too. And of course the video where he made regional variants of one of my Fakemon. I'm not gonna spoil which one it is, but I already saw the design and it's pretty awesome. Seeing a regional variant of her own Fakemon is so cool. I think I'm gonna end this video here, it's already pretty long. Please tell me in the comments what you think about these Fakemon. Did you like the concept and execution? Which one would you choose, or would you even choose one? I'm still uncertain which one I would use, cause I kinda like all three of them. Anyways, please leave a like and subscribe to this channel and to PokéBrawl if you want to see more Fakemon content. Also, since you now know how the regional variants work for the Jermanzburg region, you can also leave your ideas if you want to. I'll read them all. See you in the comments!